Pakistan police bust organ trafficking ring that took kidneys from hundreds. On August 4, 2023, Pakistani police busted an organ trafficking ring that had taken kidneys from hundreds of people, including many poor and vulnerable individuals. The ring was operating in the cities of Lahore and Karachi and was believed to have been involved in the trafficking of organs for at least last 5 years. Police arrested 10 people in connection with the ring, including doctors, nurses, and brokers. The suspects were charged with a number of offences, including human trafficking, organ trafficking, and fraud. Investigations revealed that the ring had targeted poor and vulnerable people such as migrant workers and homeless people by offering them money for their kidneys. The victims were then taken to a hospital where their kidneys were removed without their consent. In some cases, the victims were told that they were receiving medical treatment, but they were actually undergoing kidney removal surgery. In other cases, the victims were tricked into signing consent forms that they did not understand. The victims of the ring were often left with serious health problems and some even died. The ring also made a significant amount of money from the trafficking of their organs, with some estimates suggesting that they made millions of dollars over the years. The police operation to bust the ring was the result of a year-long investigation. Police had received intelligence about the ring's activities and they launched an undercover operation to gather evidence. The undercover operation involved police officers posing as potential organ buyers. The officers were able to make contact with members of the ring and negotiate deals to purchase organs. Once police had gathered enough evidence, they launched a series of raids on the ring's hideouts. During the raids, police arrested the suspects and seized documents and evidence related to the trafficking of organs. The arrests of the suspects and the seizure of the evidence were a major victory for the Pakistani police. The operation has helped to disrupt the organ trafficking trade and to protect vulnerable people from being exploited. Sentences. So far, 5 of the suspects have been sentenced to jail. The sentences range from 10 years to 20 years in prison. The remaining 5 suspects are still waiting trial. The case is ongoing and police are continuing to investigate the ring's activities. It is believed that the ring may have trafficked the organs of hundreds of people and police are working to identify and locate the victims. Impact. The busting of the organ trafficking ring has had a significant impact on the lives of the victims. The victims are now receiving medical treatment and support, and they are working to rebuild their lives. The case has also raised awareness of the issues of organ trafficking in Pakistan. The government has taken a number of steps to crack down on organ trafficking, including increasing penalties for the crime and strengthening law enforcement efforts. Another story is about organ trafficking is related with the Nigerian politician and his wife as well. E.K. Ekramadu, organ trafficking plot, politician and wife guilty. In May 2023, a senior Nigerian politician, his wife and a doctor were found guilty of an organ trafficking plot at the Old Bailey in London. It was the first such case under the Modern Slavery Act. The defendants, Senator Ike Ekwamadu, 60, and his wife Beatrice, 56, and Dr. Obina Obeta, 50, were convicted of conspiring to exploit a 21-year-old man from Lagos, Nigeria, by bringing him to the UK to have his kidney harvested for the Ekwamadu's daughter Sonia. The court heard that the Ekwamadus had offered the man £80,000 for his kidney, but that he had been falsely represented to a private renal unit at the Royal Free Hospital in London as Sonia's cousin. The hospital refused to carry out the transplant after becoming suspicious of the circumstances. The man subsequently fled in fear of his life and walked into a police station to report what had happened. Ekwamadu, who was described by the judge as the driving force throughout the plot, was sentenced to 9 years and 8 months in prison. Beatrice Ekwamadu was jailed for 4 years and 6 months, and Dr. Obeta was sentenced to 10 years. The case has shocked Nigeria and the wider world and has raised serious concerns about the growing problem of organ trafficking. Ekwamadu is a well-known and respected figure in Nigeria. He served as Deputy President of the Senate from 2007 to 2019 and is a member of the opposition People's Democratic Party. His daughter Sonia has been suffering from a kidney disease for several years. In 2021, she was forced to drop out of a master's degree in film at Newcastle University due to her illness. Ekwamadus are reported to have been desperate to find a kidney donor for his daughter, and it is believed that this led them to become involved in the organ trafficking plot. The court heard that the Ekwamadus first met the victim, who cannot be named for legal reasons, in Lagos in February 2022. They offered him £80,000 to donate his kidney to Sonia. The victim was then brought to the UK on a false visa and was falsely presented to the Royal Free Hospital as Sonia's cousin. However, the hospital refused to carry out the transplant after becoming suspicious of the circumstances. The victim subsequently fled in fear of his life and walked into a police station to report what had happened. The Ekwamadus and Dr. Obeta were arrested and charged with organ trafficking in June 2022. They went on trial at the Old Bailey in March 2023 and were found guilty on March 23. On May 5th, 2023, Ekwamadu was sentenced to 9 years and 8 months in prison. Beatrice Ekwamadus was sentenced to 4 years and 6 months in prison, and Dr. Obeta was sentenced to 10 years in prison. The case of Ike Ekwamadu and his co-defendants is a shocking example of the growing problem of organ trafficking. It is a reminder that even the most powerful and influential people in society are not immune to this crime. The case has also raised serious concerns about the regulation of private healthcare in the UK. The Royal Free Hospital has been praised for its vigilance in refusing to carry out the transplant, but the case has shown that there are loopholes in the system that can be exploited by criminals. The UK government has said that it is reviewing the regulation of private healthcare in light of the case. It is hoped that this will lead to new measures to prevent organ trafficking and other forms of exploitation.